The story begins at Sivana Industries, where Dr. Sivana is speaking to his assistant. Dr. Sivana is planning to harm children to discover which one of them is Captain Marvel. He has also deployed a highly trained tactical force to hunt down the boys. The members of the tactical force begin moving toward the children. One of them raises his gun, aiming at them. Suddenly, one of the boys steps forward and whispers the name
Shazam.
Instantly, he transforms into Captain Marvel. The tactical force starts firing at Captain Marvel, but he fights back, taking on each of them. Despite his efforts, the attackers keep coming at him relentlessly. But Captain Marvel knocked them all down. As he turned, his smile faded and his eyes widened in shock. Scott was wounded by a bullet. He yelled,
Scott!
Without wasting a moment, he rushed him to the hospital. The doctors immediately began treating Scott. Meanwhile, at the police station, one of the members of the tactical force was being interrogated. The police had found him and his associates unconscious at the subway. They were pressing him to reveal the identity of the person who hired them, but the man remained silent. Then Captain Marvel entered the scene, marching toward the interrogation room with determined fury. The other officers tried to calm him down, but he burst through the door. Grabbing the man, he slammed his face onto the table and demanded aggressively,
Who hired you? Tell me now, or I will crush your head. Then I'll walk downstairs to the holding cells and ask your partners. I will bring your dead body with me, and then they will tell me. So, for the last time, who hired you?
Terrified, the man finally broke down and revealed the name, Dr. Sivana. We then see Dr. Sivana sitting at a table, a bottle of wine in hand. Disappointment was etched across his face as he reflected on the failure of his tactical force. Mockingly, he muttered to himself,
I should have just sent a chimpanzee on roller skates with 30 pounds of C4 strapped to its back.
The scene shifts to Captain Marvel, standing silently near a window. Without saying a word, he flew towards Sivana's building. With a single devastating punch, he shattered all the glass windows. The force knocked Dr. Sivana to the ground. Before Sivana could react, Captain Marvel grabbed him by the neck with one hand and effortlessly lifted him off the floor. Sivana, now trembling, began begging for his life. Sivana gasped for air, on the brink of death. At the last moment, Captain Marvel released him, letting him collapse to the ground. Sivana coughed and gasped for breath, his body trembling with fear. From behind a wall, Sivana's assistant peeked out, terrified. Still wheezing, Sivana ordered him,
Mr. Tan, I am going to need transportation out of town immediately.
Yes, sir. I'll have them gas up the jet.
No flying. I'm going to have to run away on the ground.
At the Daily Planet, we see Clark Kent and Lois Lane working on their latest stories. Lois turns to Clark and says,
Did you hear about the incident last night? It's all over the front page.
Meanwhile, on Mount Everest, Captain Marvel sits alone, gazing out at the icy expanse. Superman arrives, his cape billowing in the wind.
Sir, you are going to have to account for your actions. You attacked police station, assaulted a prisoner. You destroyed the entire first floor of an office building. You crossed a line tonight and placed innocent civilians and law enforcement officers in dangers.
But as Superman approaches, he notices something unexpected. Captain Marvel is sitting with his head in his hands, visibly emotional, tears streaming down his face. Superman is taken aback. Captain Marvel finally speaks, his voice heavy with grief.
You don't understand. They were after me and they shot Scott. He was my best friend and now he's dead. I got my friend killed.
Superman's expression softens, and he asks, surprised,
Your best friend?
In response, Captain Marvel stands and says the magic word,
Shazam!
and in an instant, he transforms into a young boy, Billy Batson. Superman asks with his tone now full of concern,
Who did this to you?